If you want to know how to install your new washing machine, stick around and I'll show you how. All right, this is it. Hey, I'm Rashun with iInstall. I've been installing appliances now for 27 years, and today we're going to teach you how to install your brand new washer. The tools that we're going to be using are a pair of adjustable pliers, as well as my drill with my hole saw. Also, the parts that we're going to be using is going to be the Eastman drain pan to prevent any type of leaks that you may have from your washer. We're going to also be using the Eastman water connectors. All right, now let's go ahead and get that install started. First step in the process is installing this drain pan. So what we're going to do first is score the PVC pipe. And what scoring does is giving grooves to the primer and the sealant to kind of be saturated in the pipe so it grips onto what you're installing on it. So we're going to do this a little bit before we hit it with the primer. Now, this stuff is messy, so you want to make sure that you have towels, t-shirt, blanket, whatever you use to kind of cover your floor to protect it. Yeah, this is the primer here. So this is the first application and is used to seal the adhesive once you add that to it. It's very important. Some people just skip straight to the adhesive. You don't want to do that. We're going to do the same thing with this nut. Take this washer off, sit it here, and we're going to score the inside of this like so. It's not an exact science. Just getting the groove so it can be adhesive enough to apply when you put the glue on. What I'm gonna do with this is just sit it to the side. Next process is going to be grabbing this glue adhesive, clear cement, PVC, CPVC. Both of them will work. It goes on top of the primer. You need both steps. It won't work with just the primer and it won't work with just the glue. Doing it to both inside and outside, technically, so I have a better chance to adhere to the inside and the outside of the pipe. Some people don't put it on both ends, but you might as well do it right while you got it. Just slide this on like so. Clean off the excess that you have left over. And this is past drying here, so it's not going to take long to dry. The next step in the process will be installing your drain pan. Now, before you install your drain pan, you want to figure out a location that you're going to be using your hole saw to drill. You have two bottom grommets that you're able to knock out, cut out with a box cutter if you have below floor drainage. Now, you do have two side panels here if you have mid-floor back wall drainage, and that's what we have going on here. So we're going to be drilling our hole right here to install our wash pan. Now, if you read the directions here, it asks for a PVC fitting that's 1 inch. So we're using a hole saw that's slightly bigger just to make it a little easier. So I'm gonna slide this back, always double check, make sure everything is lined up before you drill a hole into your pan. Height-wise, you wanna make sure your hole is about here. So I'm gonna leave my hole saw here while I bag my pan up. Oh, that was nice and sweet. Just gonna slide this puppy right on here. You're going to add your washer first. This is very important. Not adding the washer means you're going to have a leak later on if your washer leaks. Washer's on, pan is nice and flat. You want to make sure your washer is threaded. You want to hand tighten as much as possible, and then you're going to get your adjustable pliers, and then we're going to come back and turn it up, probably half a turn, quarter of a turn, nothing too much. And that should be good enough for your pan. That's a good seal on that pan. You won't have any leaks coming from that. All right, so now it's time to install your water connectors. And I'm doing it out here so you can see it a little better. So we're gonna color coordinate everything. We're hitting it with the red to the hot. And you always wanna hand tighten it as far as you can go with the hand first. Then we're gonna come back with the color coded blue to the cold section. Once again, you want to hand tighten as far as you can get it with your hand. And then when you get your adjustable pliers, come back and we're going to hit it with another quarter turn to a half turn just to make sure it's sealed. You don't want to over tighten. You don't want to snap this plastic orifice off of here because it will snap. And that should do it. All right, so now it's time to get the washer in position. So upon doing so, you want to hold your hoses. And what I'm gonna try to do is get all the weight on this back right leg of this washer. And we're gonna spin it into place like so. Now, before we move our washer inside of the drain pan, I want to connect the hoses first. Seems to work out a little better that way. And before you connect your hoses, you want to check out and reassure that you have both washers in it. Hot, cold, both washers should be in there all the way to the bottom so they can't go anymore. We're going to start with the hot. Usually your hot water is always on the left. We don't have a color coordinating on this one, but I'm going to assume the hot is on the left. Again, you want to get them as hand tight as possible. Then come with a 1/4 inch turn to tighten it up. That's it. That's all you need. Because you definitely don't want these to snap in your wall because it'll happen. All right, let's get into place. And I'm gonna come along the front of the washer. Now, if you got a buddy that can help you out, a neighbor or something, I suggest getting them. But if you're by yourself, what I do is I rock the washer on my knee and gently slide it into my pan. And once you have it in the pan, you want to bring it up to the rim. You don't want it to drop down on that pipe you just installed. So right about there is ideal. So now that you have the washer in the pan, now it's time to finish up the connection. So what you want to do is come behind the unit and grab your drain hose. Some washers you have to install the drain hose on. We're lucky to have this one. The drain hose is already attached to it. So I usually just work this around the washer and then have this come in between your hot and cold water spigots. Now it's time to plug up your washer. Washer plugged up, finishing touch. Grab your zip tie. You want to wrap it firmly around this drain hose because sometimes if you don't have it zip tied down, that drain hose can pop out of this when you're not paying attention. You could be upstairs reading a book or something. You get downstairs, your whole downstairs is flooded. So that zip tie is very important. So once you have that zip tied, you want to come up here, position this in the pan where you want it, and make sure your washer is level. Left to right says it's good. Now we're finna go front to back on it. And this puppy came out of the box level. But if chances your washer isn't level, you want to grab the adjustable pliers and come down here and adjust the legs needed until you get this torpedo level, nice and level the way you need it. And that's it. Now it's time to flip the water on. I got my water on. Let me adjust my drain hose. Now, if your washer does not come with the drain hose, Eastman has a universal drain hose that fits most models that you can use to install your washer if it does not have one. And that is it. Last thing before I leave today, I'm just gonna power it on, run a test cycle, make sure it's not leaking. And that'll complete the install of your new washer. I appreciate you guys for joining me. You guys have a blessed day.